This is the lucky country. With fresh water and fertile land, it's the heart of the food bowl.
I'm Charles Woolley. This is Greater Shepparton, and great things happen here.
Pactum Dairy Group, a $60 million facility exporting milk products to China and Southeast Asia. Pental Soaps, the products you'll find in your home, are made here. Rubicon, a world leader in automated irrigation systems. Unilever, a $182 billion company with over 400 brands. These great companies and great brands are all here.
Greater Shepparton is open for business.
Engineering innovation, transport logistics, professional services and a growing retail sector. They even train nurses and doctors here. An enviable lifestyle, education opportunities and affordable housing make Greater Shepparton a wise investment.
This is a great place to build a business. So get online and get your business moving.
Greater Shepparton, great things happen here.
Aussie Gutter Protection. Are leaves, debris, blocking your gutters? The do-it-yourself attempt wasn't a success? Pests and birds nesting in your roof? Just relax. Help is on its way.
Aussie Gutter Protection started way back in 2000. It's a family-run business and it's an industry recognised leader, growing every day with more and more homes being protected.
Blocked gutters can cause flooding inside the house, and that can be expensive. Drains can get blocked, and that can be expensive too. Just one small ember from a distant bushfire can be disastrous. Pests or nesting birds can bring disease inside the home. Do it yourself? No. Too many people die or are seriously injured falling from ladders. It's a big problem.
This particular homeowner has gone down the DIY path. As you can see, little or no success. After a short period of time, the gutters are all blocked up. Again, some of it's blown away and missing. Not to mention the danger of actually installing it yourself, height, things like that, falling off a roof. Not a good situation. It's not only leaves that can block up your gutters, pine needles as well. With this house so close to pine trees, you can see the result.
Aussie Gutter Protections installers are trained to deliver a professional and secure finish to your home or building. Experienced people and great service.
A very good afternoon to you, wherever you're watching from, whatever device you are watching on. Welcome to Bowls Victoria's live stream coverage of the 2017 Steller Vic Open. We've had 1,681 entries, more than 3,000 competitors, more than 2,000 matches over 7 days in 7 disciplines at the Steller Vic Open this year. And it's brought us to this, the business end of the Vic Open for this year. We're coming to you live from Shepparton Park Bowls Club. And our coverage today, it's brought to you by Aussie Gutter Protection, protecting Australian roofs for the past 17 years. Call 1300 88 5525 or go to aussiegutterprotection.com.au to find out more. And we have a cracking first match for you in our live stream coverage. We'll be live streaming for the next 2 days via the Bowls Victoria website. We have a great match about to kick off here. It's a men's singles quarter-final between two of Victoria's best bowlers. Ben Hubber from Glenroy. He's the 2017 State Pairs Champion, and he's taking on the very experienced Matthew Robertson of Benalla, a Shepparton local, and a former state player and certainly one of the best bowlers going around. My name's Guy Hand. I'll be one of your commentators throughout our live stream, and it's a great pleasure to have alongside me in the commentary box today a man who himself was one of Victoria's best bowlers, played more than 200 games for the state, and these days he's the Chief Executive of Bowls Victoria in Graeme Bridge. Bridgie, welcome to the coverage.
Yeah, thanks, Guy, and it's a pleasure to be here at Shepparton Park, at this fantastic venue. And it's moments like these, Guy, that make me wish I was still out there playing, but obviously more involved in other areas in this day and age. But as you said before in the intros, we've got two very, very capable players in our first quarter-final, and they've done the hard yards to get to this stage. We're down to the last 8 players now in the men's singles. And Matt, he's been here before. He was the runner-up in the inaugural Vic Open against the bowling arm sensation, Neil Crisp. And Ben's been around the traps for quite a while now. He's come up through the junior ranks. He's been a very, very seasoned player in the metropolitan competitions in Premier League. He's had a few spells up in the country where he's played at the highest level in Div 1 pennant up there. As you said, breakthrough win last year in the state pairs. So we've got two very, very capable players here, and I think it'll be a pretty close tussle for our first one up, and it's going to set the bar, I think, for the rest of the next couple of days and the games that we've got to cover. So I'm looking forward to it immensely.
It's a fantastic game to have first up, isn't it? Between two great players. Players just going through their roll-ups now. Yep. Just for those watching, Matt Robertson is in the white shirt. Ben Hubber in the familiar to many Glenroy red top with the cap on. And both of these guys have had a really, really good runs. It takes a lot of games. With 167 sections in the men's singles. That's a lot of players to get down to the last 8. And both of them had pretty long roads to get here over the past 6 days of this tournament. Let's take a look at how Ben Hubber's got here. He won his sectional 21-16 against Stephen Cunnington of City of Echuca. His other sectional 21-9 winner over Mark Hall of Warrigal. In his first knockout game, 21-11 winner over Kenneth Bunning of Anglesea, the last 64. He had a 21-7 win over Hank Pelgrim of City Memorial Bowls Club. He made it to the last 32 where he took on Lee Greening of Altona, a 21-17 win there. And in the last 16, in an absolutely amazing match last night, he beat Curtis Hanley of Melbourne, 21-18. Now, Ben Hubber trailed by 10 shots at one point. Hanley was absolutely hot early in that game, and Hubber has just clawed his way back into it and come over the top.
You've got to persevere in singles, and it's a lonely game. It's you against your opponent, and yourself fighting the rink as well on occasion, and it's how you settle down. But whilst you've still got enough ammunition in the gun, you've still got a chance to win. I've seen many games where a person's only needed one to go out with a commanding lead, and they just can't close the game out. And I think that might have been the situation with with Hanley last night, that he couldn't close the game out. So, and Ben didn't panic. If you don't panic, you're a chance. If you panic and you start playing shots that really aren't there, you're going to expose yourself and probably have to take a dive on the sword, I think, and pass it up. But
well, I actually spoke to Ben last night after that particular game, and I think even he was stunned by the fact that he'd been able to come back, but it was a great performance, and saw a fair chunk of that game, and it was terrific. With
this, you've just got to be prepared to take on your opponent at his strength. If he gets a commanding position playing medium length ends or long ends, you've got to be prepared to mix it up and put them off their game, and don't just keep throwing back at them what you're getting beaten on. You've got to try something different. And I think you're going to see here with both these blokes that they'll pull every trick out of the bag that they've got to try and get an ascendancy. And if they can do that, well, they'll come out on top.
Well, the man who's got plenty of tricks in the in the box is Matthew Robertson. He's a former state player and he's a Shepparton local as well. These days he's at Benalla. He's his full-time bowls coordinator there at Benalla. He's been coached there for the past 2 years, I believe, and plays pennant there. And his road has been a fairly long one as well. He's had some interesting wins, though. He in his sectional, he came up against a very talented young player, Blake Andrews from Moonee Valley. Beat him 21-12. Blake is in Victoria's under-18 program. Then he won 21-9 in his other sectional against Kelvin Beacon of Upwey Tacoma. In his knockout matches, he beat Callum Bennington and Ash Rowan of Mentone. And then to the last 64, very narrow, tight win over Ian Bloor of Middle Park, 21-19. To the last 32, did a little more comfortably against Ray Emerson of Barooga, 21-12. And then the last 16, it was the local showdown. All the locals were watching this one yesterday, taking on David Cartwright of Kyabram, who's been going really well in this tournament with a 21-11 win. And that's Robertson's road to the final.
The other good thing about it too is you've got a left-hander and a right-hander here, so you're going to get the options here that, you know, in effect, Matt's got 4 different lines to play to Ben. The left-hander's always playing a slightly tighter line, I believe, and I think that Ben doesn't want to fall for the trick of following Matthew's line, because if he does, he's going to cut the head. So here's a good start from Ben with his first bowl. That's in the area. That's where you've got to be in singles. The closer you are with your first bowl, the more pressure you're putting on from the get-go. So.
And we're playing under the roof here at Shepparton Park on the specially set up show rink here. But certainly a good start from Hubba there.
This is the thing you get when you change your hand and you've got a short bowl with your first. You want to make sure you reach with your second. So Ben can consolidate this head here by getting a second bowl closer than either of Matt's, and then Matt's under the pump then from the get-go. So the player that settles down the quickest usually is the player that is not putting himself under any pressure. Very good delivery, Ben. He stays down over his bowl as he delivers. The bowl's, you know, perfectly on its running surface when it comes out. And he's got 2 shots there. This looks like a better bowl from Matt out of the hand. The beauty of singles, that's why you get 4. He's improved his position greatly there. And it's difficult now when the players can't see the jack. The whole idea in this is if you cover the jack up, your opponent's under pressure then because they don't know where it is. Ben's got the luxury here of holding the shot, but he's got Matt there with a couple of closer bowls than his nearest, so he's got to get another one here on the head. Both players now walking down to have a look, so there's a very good bowl coming in here from Ben. This is an absolute ripper. Well played, and I reckon he'd be pretty close for 2 there.
Yeah, definitely looks like he's holding 2.
Very good bowl. Yeah, I think Matt's looking here to play up through his own toucher. Any contact there with his own bowl, he might be able to do a little bit of a disturbance there and maybe get the jack into the ditch with his toucher. Yeah, we've got that one right, Guy. We've called this pretty well. You've taken one away. That was the shot bowl he got out, so he's only one down, possibly a measure. Pretty hard to see from here. Ben's just got to play the same as his last. Or if he wants to be a little bit inventive, he can get on that on the backhand side and try and sit that closest bowl of Matthews out and make 3. So there's a chance there he either draws for 2 or sits the bowl out for 3, but he's going to take the draw option. little bit of caution here, going a little bit wider so he doesn't get narrow and tug the jack away from himself. So
just the one there. And Michael Andersch, our marker.
Okay, so the jack was in the ditch. We didn't see that go in.
Yeah, so
he was drawing to the... his toucher must have gone in with it as well. This is a pretty long end, this one. The first one was about a 3/4 length. So
with Ben Harbour, I mean, yeah, we've played between us 200 games for Victoria. I've played 0 and you've played more than 200. But so you can tell us this with some authority, Bridgie.
Yeah.
A win like last night over Curtis Hanley, where you've come back, everything's got hot, you finished off, you must be on a real high. I mean, how does that bring you into your first game today?
That's an adrenaline win last night, to come from behind and win like that, and then a good night's sleep, get a few bugs out in the roll-up ends. Yeah, his confidence would have been sky high last night, and you play good singles when your confidence is high.
Apologies, just confirming, Ben Harbour took the first shot on the first end there, so Ben Harbour up 1-0. We're into the second end. Play 21 up here.
It's got the weight here, but not quite the line, and that bowler, Matt Robertson's out there, probably about 18 inches in front of Jack High. Just probably forced him a little bit tight, but his line was okay with the weight that he played. Matt's well down here. He's only got to beat his opponent's nearest bowl. He just missed that slide. He ran through a couple of feet. Sets himself up very, very well in his pre-delivery, Ben. He's got a really good focus on where he wants to put the bowl. Lovely forward momentum in his delivery.
It is a beautiful delivery, isn't it?
Yeah, and it comes out pretty sweet. But a little bit of local knowledge here. The locals have told me that the rink that the guys are playing on, it's the most outside rink that they have here at the undercover green, and it does come in off the ditch side here. No matter what bowl you're using, it has a little bit of a whip at the end, and you've got to be out there with the right grass. And Matt's got a stroke of luck there with a nice little scrape off that bowl.
He was enjoying that. He made some pace after it.
Yeah,
he was quite enjoying the look of that.
When you're Matt's age, you don't want to be running after too many. You'll get tired quick.
The boys here certainly, in Ben Harbour's case, Ben's 26. He plays his bowls at Glenroy.
He's got a great bowl here.
This is a cracker, isn't it?
He's got a great shot here. That's a ripper.
Well played, Ben Harbour.
Beautiful.
That's a terrific
shot.
bowl. Yeah, Ben's 26. He's from Glenroy. He's the experience side of the game is probably more with Matt Robertson. Matt these days 44. Matt these days.
He's a veteran, mate. 31 years in the game. He started when he was 13. Had the pleasure of playing with Matt early in his career, and he made the state team as well. And yeah, no, he's been there, done that, and I think he enjoys playing in these types of events. Gets a bit of time off work and can come over and play some good bowls. Once again, he's another very, very well balanced player when he delivers his bowl. He's only attack here, trying to flick this off the jack, but a little bit of danger in that, but I think he's only one down.
So Ben Harbour off to a good start here.
Yes,
he's picked up a shot on each end. We'll just definitely just the one shot there.
Yeah.
So Ben Harbour leads 2-0 over Matthew Robertson. 2 ends down.
The other thing I like about Ben is he focuses on rolling the jack guy. A lot of people don't really concentrate on the jack, but he gets his right idea and his mindset focused on how much strength he puts behind that jack roll. And he's gone fairly long. He's probably gone about a 34 metre length jack. And I think he likes this backhand side here where it turns a little bit at the end.
It's another very nice bowl there.
Always nice to get a bit of chalk on your first bowl.
You were mentioning Matt Robertson started playing when he was 13 as well. So too Ben Hubber actually. He's basically his dad started playing the sport, and he was playing cricket at the time. And he enjoyed watching his dad play so much, he decided he would take that up instead of cricket.
Yep, and there's a good response from Matt. Past the jack. Most of the time you're only going to score if you finish past the jack. Anything much more than, say, a foot in front of the jack usually doesn't come into the count. And if the jack is moved, a short ball only becomes shorter. So another well-weighted bowl from Ben, but just cutting his line slightly. But it might be a counter. May hold 2 here. That's probably not a really good shot, that last one there from Matt. He was just a little bit too quick. Obviously the bowls were there to sit on the side, but if he'd missed those, he had nothing to pull him up, and subsequently he's lost that one in the ditch. Tip for all aspiring bowlers there, standing there, seeing Ben from behind the mat, his feet are pointed out on the line where he wants his bowl to go. He's not pointing his feet straight down the green, but here's a great shot again.
And that's worked for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, but he's a bit unfortunate there. He's opened it up a little bit to give Matt a bit of an option there. He can probably this weight on this bowl he wants to be there, but he might be a bit wide here, I think. If you're going to play weight, you can't be wide. Got a big chance here to cap a maximum here, Guy. If he can just tuck that jack around the corner, out of sight. If he does that, that really puts Matt under pressure.
Yeah, you get the sense that multiples are going to be fairly rare in this match.
Yeah, well, 2 singles to start the match off. But here, Ben is really applying some pressure to Matt. He'll be cranky with himself, Matt, for being wide on that. Just perfect as he lets the bowl go. He's right over the bowl. Just don't make a target bigger. That's a very good shot.
Yeah.
I think he's fallen in. I think he might be holding the maximum here.
Yeah. Certainly 3.
This is closer. He took one out.
He's taken one out there, but we'll just wait for the call. Probably 2 here.
I think Ben likes it.
Three.
Yep.
Michael Andersch gives us 3. And our scoreboard attendant Brian Hall flicks it over. It's a great start to Ben Hubber here. He's up 5-0 against Matthew Robertson with 3 ends down, and Ben Hubber playing like a man with a lot of confidence.
And in the 21 up game, it's the shortest version of traditional singles, 21 up. You really can't afford to give a start. You've got to be on the money from the get-go. If you're on the money from the start, you eliminate that risk of dropping those multiple ends, because it's the multiples that can really come back to haunt you later. He's lost control of the mat there.
It's really the only thing he's done wrong so far.
A little bit of an adrenaline rush maybe. Matt's brought the mat up a couple of metres. He's putting it down towards the tee. It's probably about 9 feet from the ditch. This is a change in length here. I'll tell you what, he's adjusted well here to this change of length. That's good.
That's pretty nice.
Just a metre behind.
Very unflappable bowler, Ben Harbour. There's not a lot phases him. We saw that in the state pairs. He and Johnny McCarron, really tough match they had. And it was a genuine struggle, but nothing phases the guy.
Yeah, two young guys that virtually came through the system together, you know, and that's probably why they had some success. I don't think Matty would be too happy with that last one he's put down. Not one of his better ones. As you can see, Ben does everything the same. He's very rhythmic. The thing he's probably doing is just changing the tempo, his delivery a little bit for the shorter end. He's played another good bowl here. He's creeping back, so he's coming back from a metre. Now he's only probably 2 feet behind, 600 mil. I think Matt's just struggling with the line and the length here. He's undercut the jack here, but he may have shot. His weight saved him. If anything, I thought he rushed that last. He tends to sort of get a little bit of a panic up and you start to rush your game. You just slow yourself right down.
Is that the key, Bridgie? I mean, you know, he's in a position you just got to slow it down, break the rhythm of the other player.
Absolutely, that's the key. You've got to get your own tempo and be happy with it. See, that's really good positioning of bowls there from Ben. He's grouping his bowls. Matt's got that, you know, pretty ordinary one at the start there, and he's got that one. This one must be close, because if it's not, I think Ben would go looking for that shot there that Matt holds. This is a much better bowl from Matt. How's his weight? Gee, I don't know. I don't think he's cut out the 3 there of Ben, so Ben might go looking for this underneath the line of the jack. Don't think he can trail the jack around that front bowl of Matt's, but he's definitely got a chance here to either pick up the jack full or just come underneath and sit that that aqua-coloured bowl out of Matt's. And this would really put the pressure on Matt if he gets this one. Yeah, it's not an attacking line. It's a fairly conservative draw line, but he's going to get the shot.
Oh,
yeah, that's a great shot.
That's really good.
And look, he had a lot of options there. If he touched the front of the jack, he would have held 3. If he was underneath and sat Matt's bowl out, he probably would have made 3 or 4. But he's got a really good lie there. There's a bit of determination in this one, but I think it's going to hang a bit. Yep. I think that's another one to Ben Harbour. I think he's won the first 4 ends, Guy. I think he's
you can't get a better start than that, can you?
He's in total control at the moment.
Yeah, he's certainly flying, and I think the confidence he got out of the round of 16 win over Curtis Hanley, coming from so far back, seems to carry that momentum certainly into the start of this match.
Matt's gone for the measure, so he's confident that he might have it, but the flat bowl, no, it's Matt. Okay, so Matt got the control of the length there because Ben rolled the jack in the ditch. So he's won this end now to keep the Matt. So
that's great. So he's picked up his first shot, Matt Robertson there. So he trails 5-1 to Ben Harbour, who's been off to a flyer, but something for Matt there. And just a reminder, you're watching Bowls Victoria's live stream coverage of the 2017 Steller Vic Open. We're live from Shepparton. And just a reminder that the Steller Vic Open live coverage is brought to you by Aussie Gutter Protection. Contact Aussie. They can sponsor your club. If you're in Victoria, if you're a Victorian club and you're looking for sponsorship, Aussie Gutter Protection can help you. Call 1300 885525 or go to aussiegutterprotection.com.au to find out more. They are the gutter garden bird proofing specialists.
That's a much better start from Matt. He's about, I'd say about a foot off the jack, 300 mil. but he's covering the jack, so Ben's got to put one out here, and he has. He's taken a beautiful line, and I'll tell you what, he's got the shot here. Oh, very close. He's just finished a bowl and a half in front of Jack High. Couple of options here for Matt. He's got an opportunity here to turn his own over closer if he's a bit tight, or if he gets the inside edge of Ben's bowl, he'll finish up on the jack, and he's given this every chance. That is a ripping bowl.
And he's gone for option B, Bridgie.
That's a ripper.
Yep, option B as you suggested, and that's worked out really well.
It's nice when they play the shot you predict, Guy. When they play something entirely different, you think to yourself, I'm going to make a fool of myself here.
No,
But he really had nothing to fear there. It wasn't blocking the hand. It was it was a perfect guide into the jack.
This experience, isn't it? I mean, you sort of 5-zip down. You're possibly facing another multiple. And he's managed to dig himself out of a hole pretty quick here.
And here's a little sign of something here that Ben's lost his line, but he's played perfect weight. He'd be cranky with himself on that because he's played such a good weight. He's dead jack high, and he's finished under the head. So. Here's a good bowl here from Matt. He's closing this. He's closing this head up now.
Yep.
Ben might just come and have a little look at this just to see what his options are. He can't take both of his bowls out here, I wouldn't think, unless he plays a wayward upshot that gets half that front bowl and he comes off and gets his other one. But he might play a little bit attacking here. He's got that little buffer now. He's got 5 shots up on his, or 4 shots up on his opponent. If he drops the maximum here, it brings it back to all square. So it just becomes a shorter game. First one to 16. You can usually read your opponent a little bit when they come up to the head and see what they're thinking, and he's probably thinking to himself, you know, I played a really good weighted bowl with my last, but I didn't give it a chance because I played it a bit tight. He swapped over onto his forehand, which he hasn't played many bowls in this direction yet. And this is the thing on this particular green. If you play just a little bit of weight and you don't get your line right, they don't turn. They stay out. It's the harder weight to play. If you're just dead drawing, you know your bowl's going to give a chance to bend. But if you play just that little bit of extra weight, the judgment of the line that you take is critical. And if you're just that ounce wide, your bowl won't come back. But the good thing was he didn't lose his bowl. It's still on the green. I think Matty's going to try and close him out here and get a really close bowl. Okay, so he's going for a little bit of cover, a little bit of protection.
Just a reminder, we respot the jack here.
Yep.
So you'll see a little different to some other events that we do respot the jack on the tee here. So
there's a big power shot here. Oh, wow. Well, there's a result.
It's a fine result indeed.
A little bit unorthodox, but
get the job done. 1 or 2 here.
Could be 2. Depending on how far that one ran away over to the side, I think he might be 2. He'd have 1 at least. I think it might be only 1.
It's 2.
It's 2.
It's 2 to Ben Hubber. And so Hubber plays the get out of jail free card there.
Ooh.
Picks up 2. And he takes a 7-1 lead.
Famous bloke you know, who comes in our office quite often, Bob Middleton, he always said to me, luck begins when you reach jack high. If you don't reach jack high, you can't get any luck. And Ben certainly got a pretty big ounce of it then. He probably got a pound of it then.
A wise man, Bobby Middleton.
Oh.
And one of the greats of the game. And we're very privileged to have him come in every week.
Renowned for never being short. Always up.
Truly one of the great men.
This one's about another 3/4 length in.
So we're 6 ends down, playing 21 up. Ben Hubber holding a very solid lead over Matthew Robertson here. 7-1. It's actually the 5th end. We're into the 6th end now.
Yeah, 6th end now. It's a good start from Ben. Probably looking for about a foot on his next bowl, 300 mil. This one's a better bowl from Matt. I think he might have snatched the shot here. Definitely.
It's a great bowl, Matt Robertson.
Good start.
Certainly a wonderful exhibition. We hope you're enjoying this wherever you're watching it from, because you're seeing some very high quality bowls right now.
Yeah, I think Matt would be pretty happy with the last end he played, and I don't think it'd be any reason for him to panic. And just yet, I thought he had the ascendancy on that last end, and Ben got a result with a fairly wayward drive, but he's come back here beautifully with a precision draw shot there. That was a very, very good correction on his first bowl. Might see Matt swap over his hand here. Yep. He's giving this every chance, probably just a little overweighted. The catching pen guy, a yard behind the jack. If you get him behind the jack about a metre, you've always got a chance to play something to land on the jack and trail it back. So you can't get that result with short bowls.
Yeah, I like that, the catching pen.
He's gone out a bit here with this one, Ben. He's going to be very, very annoyed with himself here because he's got a very good weight, but the sheepdogs would have to bring that one home. She's gone out right out to the boundary there and not come back much. So
Don't think there's any pen that will catch that one, mate.
No. And Matt's got to look for something here to change the head. I think he's close.
This might be the one that does it.
No, he's got a half a trail of the jack there. He's probably got one for sure. If the full catch there, he would have gobbled it up for two. So he's got another one to fire yet. This is the last bowl for Ben. He must get a close bowl here. He's cast this out well too. This is where it comes in off the side. Here's the shot. Well played, Ben. That's a great bowl.
Terrific bowl, Ben Hubber.
He's hidden it from view too. Matt won't be able to see that bowl from the other end. He's got to rely on swing to get it around the other bowls to sit it out, or he's got to just go and try and draw the shot on the open hand, and if he gets a little bit of the jack he might be able to make three, but he's got to really think about just drawing the shot here. Stay down over this one. I might draw. It's blowing smoke a bit here. This might not reach. Yep. Fallen for the old 1 yard short. I'd say Ben's got one there. Yep, one to Ben.
Yeah, one to Ben Hubber. So it's all Ben Hubber at this point. The Glenroy man, he's up 8-1 over Matthew Robertson of Benalla in our televised game at the Steller Vic Open. This is the men's singles quarter final. Ben absolutely off to a fly. Ben, interestingly, he's a country boy as well. Started playing in Kyneton. And Matt obviously has been a Shepparton local for pretty much all his life. These days, Ben plays his bowls at Glenroy, which is in the north of Melbourne. Very traditionally strong club. And Ben's real aim is to get Glenroy into Premier Division. He and Johnny McCarran and boys like that are very focused on doing exactly that.
Here's a great start. Beautiful weight.
He's in a zone at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, look, the weight is the key to the game. If you've got control over the weight, you can virtually put the jack anywhere and be able to draw close to it. The line is just the direction you point yourself in and where you direct your bowl. It's always nice to see them go down on the side and finish on the side that they start on. Matt's played
good
a
bowl
ripper
from
there.
Matt there. That's a good bowl. Really good ball.
Absolutely. Just a slight line adjustment here with the same weight behind the bowl, and Ben should be right on top of the jack. You can see it gets to a point here and takes a whip across the green. That's really whipped across the head, that one. Matt's playing the same line as Ben was last one, being the left-hander. He should be right on top of the jack here, or in the area where he's really on the centre line. That's a great bowl again.
Yep.
Just a little over a foot in front. That's where you, if you're going to play a short bowl, no shorter than that. You know, that's the area that you're going to be in. If somebody's drawing to the jack and they touch you, they're just going to touch you slightly closer to the jack. But if you're a yard away and they play with just draw, weight and touch you, you're not going to get pushed up.
Ooh. Wow.
Well, he got the best half of the jack, and he's made 3 shots out of that.
That's, yeah. And another big multiple looming here unless Matt can change things up.
He's really applying some pressure. That's a good result. That's a very, very well weighted bowl. He's cut that down from 3 down to 1 down, which is a good percentage. Good percentage shot.
Certainly stem the bleeding.
Yeah. Ben's got no troubles here. He can play. He can virtually play his backhand again and come down there and look at that inside of the aqua bowl there. If he gets a little piece of that and then part of the jack, he'll fall back on the jack and move it back into the area just underneath the scoreboard there, and he can maximise his count. So,
do you think he's going to do that?
I don't think he's got anything to lose here if he just plays just a standard draw shot. That little bit of an edge off that bowl will help, and on the carpet you just touch the jack and it does move. It can move anywhere between, you know, a foot to 3 feet, and he's going to make a maximum count here if he's definitely played a tighter line. He's looking for this, I think. Yep, he's had the right idea. And Matt's got to be very careful now. He's 1 down. He's sort of reduced the pain there, but he could suffer some real anguish if he just touches that jack and it spits out the side to where Ben's virtually got everything. So
he has very few options by the looks of this.
I think he's got a forehand draw here for the left-hander, and he's just got to try and get as close as he can. If he can draw a toucher and fall back on it, he could make 2, but wow, that'd be a big shot at this point in the game.
Well, if anyone can do that, Matt Robertson can. We've seen it time and time again at these sort of events.
He doesn't like it. He's dropped his head on. I think he's fairly tight here. He should drop his head more often. He might have a better bowl than he thinks. Yeah, see, that was dangerous weight. You know, that was probably 3 times the amount of weight he should have played it with. And I think the 1 down there is a good call.
Yeah, it was looking a lot better than it was before.
It was looking uglier earlier.
Yeah, so Ben Hubber just keeps adding the shots. He now holds a 9-1 lead over Matthew Robertson. Fair to say he's been dominant so far. He had a stroke of luck a couple of ends back, but he's ridden that luck and he's played really good bowls. And 9-1, very few loose bowls. He's been playing really well. First 7 ends have really pretty much been his.
And that's the secret. You know, the amount of bad bowls you play is what's going to cost you the game. It's not the amount of good ones you play. It's when you play them, but you've got to make sure that you give your bowler a chance most of the time, and Ben's doing that. And I think you'll also notice Ben has been more steady on playing on one side of the green. Matt's been chopping and changing, and there is a little bit of a difference. I think this side here that Ben's playing well on is the side that's the consistent pace. The inside of the green I think might be a little bit tricky. As soon as you put the weight on, they tend to do a little bit of some strange things. Both players just going through here slightly. high here off the forehand side, and he's got a great bowl here. Yeah, well played. That's a ripper. Matt's not going away here, Guy. He's sat perfectly on Ben's bowl. That's a great shot.
Yeah, it's a great shot there.
It's when you have these ends that go shot for shot. You know, Ben gets it, then Matt gets it. Ben gets it, then Matt gets it. That's good bowls. He's not without a chance here either. He's got a half of the jack, and he's made the better part of 2 shots there. Could be a measure. The angles there aren't concrete, but too much room for this bloke. I reckon he should get in here and draw this quite comfortably. Yeah, he's cold drawn it. Well played. Good shot. It's the art of correction. It's how you correct your bowl. You know, if you're a little bit wide with your first, you've got to try and narrow it. If you're a little bit through, you've got to hold your line, but just take that little bit of weight off. And the difference between a foot through and 3 feet through is not much momentum in your delivery. It's quite surprising how if you try and repeat yourself, you'll get the exact result you're looking for.
The importance of muscle memory.
Yeah. It's bowls is very cognitive. If you can master that mindset of what you want to do, and I used to always use a thing, the 3 Ps. Paint the perfect picture of pace in your mind, and then when you deliver, it's all about just following through the cognitive rehearsal of it, and you get the results. And Ben's played a good bowl here again. Might be just hanging out a little bit though. Great effort. Great effort. Matty might like this for 2, I think. He's had a bit of a look at it.
He certainly has the one, and the little bloke to the left, as you're looking at it, of the jack there. He's definitely in play.
Well, he's either adding an extra for 2, or really virtually tripling his score here if he can. If he can pick up a 3-shot margin here, he'll break that buffer down to only 5 behind. At the moment he's currently 8 behind, and I really think he's got to start putting his pedal to the metal here, and don't know about that one either.
I think it's time for the measure.
Could be the string come out here, I think, and a quick run around. We definitely know that bowl there is the shot. Yep. But now it's Ben's outside bowl, I think, is the closest one out of the 2 he's got there. I think that's closer than the inside one. That's the closer one. Yep. And I think that might just be, it might be 2.
There we go. So 2 to Matthew Robertson. And that reduces the deficit to, well, he trails now 3-9 to Ben Hubber. And you certainly needed that, didn't he?
Oh, I'd say if Matt hadn't have won that end then, and Ben had got, say, 1 or 2 more, out to 10, you only need 11 then. You see that. It's like the straight 6 at Flemington, mate. You're coming down the home straight, you're riding the Melbourne Cup winner, and you just got to ride him out and get him home. Yeah. That end then was probably the most important one that Matt's played so far.
I've seen plenty of mine come down the straight 6 and, as you beautifully put it before, blow smoke about the 150, 200 mark.
Drop a piston. Yeah, here's another great start from Matt. That's a really good bowl to start with.
And that's what you want, I would imagine, after the last end. Just put a little pressure on, put a bit of a seed of doubt in the mind there.
Yep. It's like a break in tennis. You know, in a break in tennis, you haven't really broken them until you hold your own serve. and getting those two then that Matt got, if he can consolidate here and back this end up, he's well back in the match. He's by no means out of it, but he's got more chances then. Smart bowl.
It's good. Just a reminder again that we respot the jack on the tee at the Vic Open.
That's where the strategy comes into the game. You know, if you've got a head where you're holding a good shot or two, you're not building a target, you're thinking about what your opponent's going to do, and if they attack and they move the jack out of the green, it's obviously then going to be respotted on that 2 metre mark, and if you've got a bowl reasonably close to that area, you've got a chance to score. So it's very strategic in that sense, this respotting. So this is the side here with the left-hander that they just don't turn back at that little bit of extra weight that you put on. He's only a metre through the head there, but that looked like it was going to turn, but it just hung out that little bit on its trajectory. Once it got to jack height, it really didn't do much at all. Ben's out there too. Okay. This is the one you need, Matt. You need another one in there. Good strength, but it's running away. I think he's only one down here, Ben. He's having a look. Probably not the time with the position that he's in. He's only one down. Just think he's going to sort of try and draw the shot here.
Draw the shot and hope for the best, you reckon?
Matt's out of ammo, so this is the last bowl on the head. He doesn't want to do anything silly to give Matt any extra shots, so I personally think he's just got to draw on that forehand to sit on Matt's shot bowl, or if he's a little bit more inventive, maybe play underneath to draw Matt's bowl out on the backhand, but I think the forehand's the better option. Just sit the jack high bowl. He hasn't got back the best back bowl, so he can't attack it. And that looks like that's on a pretty good line. Beautiful try. And no real danger there. Like he's definitely only going to drop one here.
That's right. And shot Brian Hall flicks the scoreboard there. Just the one to Matt Robertson. And he trails Ben Hubber 9-4 in our men's singles quarter final. You're with Bowls Victoria's live stream coverage of the Victorian Open. We hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching from, whatever device you're watching it from. And tell your friends, www.bowlsvic.org.au. We'll be live streaming matches for the next 2 days from the Vic Open. Some big games in progress. And some really, really big games coming up, which we'll be very, very pleased to bring you. Our coverage is brought to you by Aussie Gutter Protection. Keeping leaves and debris out of your gutters. Contact Aussie to find out more. 1300 88 5525 or at the website aussiegutterprotection.com.au.
Matt won't be happy with that. And Ben's not even thinking about it, so he's staying on that same hand that he's been playing so well. Considers that that's nowhere near in his way, and from what his bowls have been doing, I tend to agree with him. But he hasn't capitalised on that poor opening bowl from Matt and actually pushed him closer. So he had beautiful line, but just not the strength in it. Matt's not messing around. He's getting out on the open hand. I think Matt would love to be able to command his first bowl on the front of the jack. If he could start to do that, he would really be applying some pressure to Ben then. And now, obviously, with Ben's chance, he's gone way wide here. This will have to do some serious turning. He tended to fall away off the side of the mat then, so lost his balance slightly and pushed him out a little bit, but perfect guide now for Matt there to be inside that and draw another shot.
Matt's getting after this one.
Yeah, he likes this.
He likes it.
He always follows his good bowls, Matt. He reads his bowl well.
He likes it, and so do we. That's a great shot.
It's a ripper. Ben can see a little bit of the jack. This is a better bowl. He's over this one. Just that little bit of weight. Yeah. So he's finished. He's finished nearly the better part of 2.5 metres behind there. He's just played that a little. If he's going to play that weight, he had to be tight. He was just a little bit high on the jack. He's tucked it in now, and I would say that Matty now holds 3. And if he can tuck that jack around behind that shot bowl, the lights are out on Ben. He's got to play something that's not something that he hasn't been called on to play yet in the game.
Correct, and that would be the drive.
He'll be under. Well, he's played the drive. He had got that really good result before, but he won't have any. He's got no position here, so. And I think Matt knows that. Well, he's not making the target any bigger. He's getting behind. Yep. It's not a bad shot. He hasn't really. Yep. He hasn't changed the head up. The head's still the same. So Ben's now got to think about what he does to correct on his last bowl.
Yeah, clever shot with a bit of insurance there.
Yes, because if the back corner of that shot bowl gets touched and does put the jack out of bounds, Matt's virtually got everything covered there. So now the pressure's on Ben to perform, to get himself out of trouble. Stands behind the mat, thinks about it a little bit, then gets on and executes, and we'll see what we get. Okay. I think he's wide again, Guy, with the, unless he's got the right weight. This time he's got better weight, but he's still a little bit high. Great shot. That's a great shot. Yep.
And that certainly reduced the count there.
The ones don't hurt you as long as you don't drop 21 of them.
Particularly if you're 5 shots up.
Yeah,
now exactly. Only 4 shots up.
Exactly.
As Ben Hubber is. Holds a 9-5 lead over Matthew Robertson. Ben Hubber from Glenroy. The 2017 State Pairs champion. Against Matt Robertson, former state player. Big local hope while he lives in Shepparton, has for a long time. Plays his bowls at Benalla these days, where he's the full-time bowls coordinator.
Bit of a length change again. He's only brought the mat up 1 or 2 paces, but the jack is now, this is a fairly standard length that you'd find most players playing. He's got the weight, he's got a good line there. That's a good bowl, that's a good start. Okay, that's right, probably in Matt's eye there, that one. I think you'll see a change here. Yep, straight over onto his backhand. And I think he's got the best line he's played on this side of the green so far. He just got the weight too. That's a good shot.
That's a really good shot, Matt Robertson.
Now, Ben is under the pump now, Guy, because he's got to follow him. He's got to go down with him because he's got his own short bowl in the way, which is going to hamper his been favouring that ditch side. Now he's out here. He'll be thinking to himself, I reckon I played the same weight on that bowl as I did with my first, just with a little bit extra. But that's other side of the green, probably just running a little bit quicker. And here's Matt pouring on more pressure. This is what you've got to do.
That'll do nicely.
Yeah, the only trouble is he's opened the jack. He's played a good bad bowl there. I think you'll see Ben probably get into this. Yeah, much more purpose in this shot. Got two of them out. That's a good result. It's very difficult playing that swinging weight there on the indoor undercover surface. It's some will bend, some will run straight, some will hang. And that can frustrate the player if they think they've played the right combination of line and length on a firmer shot and they don't get anything. That can really get inside their mind. I reckon we'll see another close bowl here from Matt. I reckon he wants to really start to put some pressure on. Yep. So no. I don't think so. I don't think it's a shot, but
yeah. Just taking a standing look at that now, I'm pretty certain it's just the one here.
I know it's easy from the commentary box, but if I was Ben here, yes, I'd be doing this. I'd be getting back on this side where I've been playing well, look to turn my own bowl slightly, or just get around that and sit on Matt's. A couple of options here, if you give yourself a chance. Just picked a little glance up off that front bowl of his, and he's still one down.
Yep, so yet another shot to Matthew Robertson. He just keeps picking up the single shots, but he certainly reduced the lead. I mean, he was down 7-1 at one point, and that he's back to 9-5 now, down. 9-6, sorry.
Yeah, I think he's now, Matt's a little bit more comfortable, I think. You know, when he was 9-1 down, he might have started to think about, I don't want to pack my bags just yet. I still want to be involved in this. He certainly found his range a bit better in those few ends there that he's won on the trot. He's won the last 4 ends, so he's improved his position. And he's got a steely glare in his eye, so I reckon he's pretty focused at the moment. But he won't be happy with that as a starter. Most of the ends they've played so far, Guy, have been around the 3/4 length, which is predominantly what most people will play. I used to have a theory in this game that if you played the lengths that not everybody played, you had a better chance. So the shorter ends and the real long ends, they're not the normals. Most people go out and practice their strength of just 3/4 length.
Is there an element of percentage play in that?
It's a comfort thing for a lot of people. There will be some people that don't like long ends. There'll be people that don't like short ends, and in the middle is the comfort area for most people.
It's pulled up a bit short again from that.
Yeah, that's not a good bowl. It's definitely turned the light out on Ben's favoured forehand side, going in that direction towards the outdoor greens. He's capitalised on this though. Oh, for a couple of feet, he would have been hoping there to put a front toucher in there to really make Matt think twice about what he plays. Could be 2 shots here. Matt's persevering on that side to either turn his bowls over or get underneath and get a piece of the jack. Geez, he's playing really, really delicate weight there. He's got a good result. He's got the shot. Last bowl's jack high. Well, everything to gain here for Ben Hubber on his backhand. If he sits that last bowl, which is an inch behind jack high, he can turn this into a multiple score.
He's getting down after it.
Yep, he likes it. Oh, he's played a very good dead draw shot, but he's... Oh,
has he put enough on it?
You don't know. He bumped it. I don't think so. I think Matt may have the shot still there.
It's really hard to tell you. Our commentary angle is pretty much smack bang in the middle of the green, and it's really, really hard to tell, and I don't think that camera shot helps us out much either, does it?
You probably need an overhead shot to see that distance better, but it's, look, both bowls are within, I'd say, at least 40 centimetres of the jack, so they're in the scoring area. I think Matt's got a little bit of added protection here, trying to play through his... It's a very difficult shot for him to get underneath that front bowl of Ben's and not sort of interfere with it, but he's given it every chance. Wow, here's another one that might figure in the decision. Call that. Flat bowl, standing up bowl on the side. That could be a 3-way measure.
Yeah.
But we've got Ben with one to come, and if he's not playing a little bit over the head here, he's not got a chance, because he's got to turn his own bowl in, or get underneath and sit Matt out and fall in, or turn his other bowl at the top of the screen out, or in towards the jack, and maybe even get it up onto that shot bowl of Matt's. I think that's the shot bowl, that one on the side at jack high. Oh, he's going big. That's a great shot. He's put that fair and square over the top of the head and into the ditch, and I think he's got 2 if his bowl, if his toucher stayed in. Or it's only 1. It's only 1 shot.
I think this will be 1.
1 to Ben. Don't think there can be any indecision there. It's only 1.
Yep, so 1 to Ben Hubber. And he takes a 10-6 lead over Matthew Robertson in the Steller Victorian Open men's singles quarter final. Our first match for live stream on www.bowlsvic.org.au. Pleasure to have you with us wherever you are watching from. My name's Guy Hand. Alongside me, Graeme Bridge. Played more than 200 games for Victoria. A national singles champion in the 90s. And also the CEO of Bowls Victoria.
23 years ago today.
23 years ago today.
That's when I won that title.
On the national. 94.
Yeah, 94. Long time ago.
Happy trophy-versary.
Yeah, memories. Slept with a medal on during the night and woke up the next morning with an imprint on my chest. And I got the biggest check of my career. It had more zeros on it than you've ever seen in your life. Just nothing in front of the zero. But a lot of happy memories in doing that. And here's Ben.
Oh my goodness, Ben Hubber.
Super trailing the jack there. A little bit overweight and probably a little bit narrow as well, but he got it in the middle. Went with it. I can say one thing though, Guy. It might be 23 years since I did it, but you still got to do the same things 23 years later. You've got to get closer to the jack than your opponent. So the game hasn't changed that much. Just the bowls have changed slightly, and the actual age of the players playing. That's the best part about it.
It has. Demographically, it's changed, hasn't it? I mean, a young man like Ben Hubber who's 26, I mean, 25 years ago would have been an absolute rarity.
Oh, no, there was a few around. the thing was that in those days they didn't have the junior development initiatives that are there now, and I think that's a key to any sport, that you've got to have an identified type of pathways that athletes can come into the sport, and obviously the younger they start, the longer the future they have in the game.
We're very lucky in Victoria. We have exactly that for our under-18s.
Yep.
Wonderful program we have.
And Ben came through that. Ben came through that and through the under-25s. Matt probably was didn't have that benefit back then. Probably came through under-25s, but I remember him coming into the scene probably in his late 20s, early 30s. This is a different end altogether, this one, because the jack was on the 2 metre mark and Ben trailed it with his first. And now no one wants to go near it. It's a close measure again. Michael Andersch, our marker, has got a very good eye. And the best part about it is he makes his decision quickly and leaves the players in no doubt. So that's always a good thing for singles, if the marker is forthright in their assessment of how the head lies. Well, we're getting rid of that scoreboard come the next games. We won't be having a scoreboard in the way of the rink. I think that's a bit of a worry there.
Yeah. We'll try and bring it to you best we can.
Our scoreboard attendant's beautifully positioned there for his view. The boys on the camera can't see through that though, where the jack is at the moment, but it's roughly, I'd say the jack would be roughly 3 metre from the ditch. Matty Robertson's bowl is behind, and the other bowls are about, I'd say probably the better part of 600 mil, 2 feet in front.
So you can see the situation from there. Apologies to you for that. There's not much we can do when the jack's exactly behind the scoreboard. It's just a...
Okay, so he's cast this one out. That is a cracking bowl. That's a great shot.
That is an absolute peach, and you can just see the jack creeping out from the left of the scoreboard there.
Now Matty must win this end, Guy. He held sway there for 4 ends in a row. Started to apply a bit of pressure to Ben, who pulled the big, he pulled the super cannon out and fired one down the middle of the rink and got one shot by putting the jack over the top of the head into the ditch. But probably the biggest problem that Matt would face is building up a target against a good driver like Ben. And he's got to reach this. Unfortunately, he's just a little high on that. And Ben's going to get another shot.
So Ben picks one up here. Ben Hubber 11-6. He leads. Reminder, we're 21 up here. And also breaks the little streak that Robertson was having of picking up a shot on the last 4 ends. Reminder, just if you're just joining us, Hubber raced out to a 9-1 lead early doors, playing great bowls. Matthew Robertson's just slowly stuck at it, picked up a shot on the last 4 ends until that one there, Ben Hubber has picked one up. A couple of times he threatened to pick up a multiple, but some good defence from Ben has basically helped him out. So Robertson's rolled back the deficit. He still trails by 5. We're 21 up.
Yes, he can't let it get away from here. It's a case of he's got to start stringing some ends again together. If he can do that, he's still in the game. But the other thing that hasn't changed in singles is you've got to get that first bowl close. You've got to be applying pressure from the first bowl you put down. It's in any of the disciplines in the sport. If the lead is on in a team's game, they set the pattern of play. And in singles, if one person's continually getting their first bowl close, they're virtually in control of the game. You don't want to be leaving it to your fourth bowl every end to try and get yourself out of trouble, because you can run but you can't hide. It'll catch up with you. Ben needs to pump his first bowl in a little bit here. He had to wait to do it. He's turned an ugly start into a much better position for himself. He's opened the head up a little bit, and you can see that that jack quite comfortably now on a standard draw line. He's just that little bit overweight. This is coming in nice and high. Probably left himself exposed a little bit there. He hasn't got a bowl past jack yet, and he's on his third bowl. So if Matt puts one down here and touches the front of the jack and puts it back a little bit, he's under the pump then, trying to retrieve.
Matt's getting down after this one.
He likes it.
And we know that's a signal.
But he's just missed it.
Ooh.
Probably shouldn't have been looking for a super trail there. You're better off trying to get one really close. He's potentially 3 down there at the moment, and he doesn't want to drop a major multiple here. If he drops a major multiple here, it could be all over. But
or at the very least, make it hard for him to come back.
Well, yeah, like if he drops a 4 here, he's out to 15-6. He's 9 behind, and it's only 6 shots Ben's got to score. It's the 21 up game is very, very cutthroat. You've got to keep yourself in it, or you've got to get out there and stretch it out. And there's every opportunity here he could. He's playing smart here. He's not trying to get anything down there on the forehand. He's leaving that open for Matt because he likes the gap there that Matt just went through. He's getting around, I think, to those bowls at the back. If he's not in the ditch here, he's played a good bit of AMP, but I think he's in the ditch. Yeah,
in the
it's
ditch.
a poor shot. You can get greedy. You can try and get too close to the jack. I've seen it many times where players, build up ahead and they get 4 nice shots, but they've got no position. Opposition comes down, plays their last bowl, trails the jack, 3 down, 4 down. It's not smart bowls. That was smart bowls because he's just left that the same as what Matt played his third bowl with, and now he's got to try and correct it with his last. Played exactly the same shot again, virtually. He's definitely made it 3 down now,
Yeah,
so he's touched that bowl over. So
that's left Matt Robertson with a bit of a pickle here. He'll drop 3 shots here. Just wait for that to be official from Michael Andersh, and it is.
Yep.
3 fingers in the air. And Ben Harbour moves out to an 8-shot lead. He leads 14-6. The biggest lead of the match so far has been 8. Ben held a 9-1 lead. And despite Matthew picking up shot after shot after shot, it's all for now.
Yeah,
and he's back to 8. So all to do again.
he got it back to 3 at 9-6. Probably thought he was back in the game, and then just that big drive that's turned the game. So Ben's picked the ascendancy up again, and that 3 just got there. Well, there was a fair bit of space there for those 3. So I think Matty would be pretty crooked on himself that he didn't get one, within that 2 feet area of the jack to cut that down. So Ben's played a fantastic bowl here. That's a better trail. That's a
absolute peach from Ben Harbour.
Yep.
And we've said that a few times in this telecast.
I think he loves this ditch side of the green. I think he's going to play more on that than he will on the inside of the green. You can see that the dots on the green indicate the setups that they have here at Shep Park. It's a toucher, but running away. So there's a whole vast array of lines that they play here on the green, and I reckon every one of them are run different. It's just about how much wear there is on the green. The bowls that Ben's using, I think he's using Henselite XGs. Am I correct in that?
I believe he is using Henselite Dreamlines.
Yeah, Dreamlines, yeah, size 4.
Size 4.
Very, very favoured bowl of choice by bowlers.
Certainly a lot of Henselite bowls being used here at the Steller Vic Open.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Matt Robertson with it all to do here.
He's coming up on his bowl now, Matt, and that's a sign that he's sort of probably holding onto the bowl a little bit and then giving it a push as he lets it go, and then although it didn't go in the ditch, he's got to close up his zone.
What's significant here for Matt too is that he's trailing by 8 shots. He only picked up multiple once so far in this game.
Yeah.
Everything else has been a single shot.
Yeah.
So
he's dropped 2 threes.
He's dropped 2 threes to Ben. So the big numbers have been coming from Hubber, and Robertson needs a big number to stretch this thing out.
I don't think Hubber will be happy with this one. He's left that well short. That's a much more determined delivery, this one. It looks to be tight. I think the pace of this carpet green is fairly consistent. I think that the pace of the green would probably be around about the 15-second mark. The draw is kind if you put your bowl out on the line that you think it should come back on. It's when you start adding those little bit of extra weight increments that the green starts to play a few tricks with you. Really speaking, this type of green is just a virtual draw and drive green. The in-between shots are much more harder to calculate the bend of the bowl if you apply any weight. There's another beach bowl going down the mine, but I think the thing is Hubber's got the comfort now that he's got that bit of a buffer back. He's back to that 8-shot break that he held earlier at 9-1. Maddie's got to be tied up inside a little bit here, trying to think about what I can do to get back into the game. And the only way you're going to get back into the game is get your draw shot working for you.
How hard is that to get right in your head, Bridgie?
Oh, look, it's...
Oh, wow.
He's picked that up. He's got a very, very good result there. That's for 2.
Result. Maybe not as hard as we thought.
Well, if he misses that, he's still flying past the jacket. It's like golf, mate. You drive for show and you putt for dough. If you can draw for the dough in these sorts of things, that's the go. The basis of the game is built around the draw shot.
And there is that rare multiple we were speaking of for Matthew Robertson. He's picked one up. It's only his second for the match, but he's picked 2 up there. And boy, did he need them. Yes. 14-8 he trails Ben Hubber.
He softened the blow of that 3 he lost on the previous end, and in effect he's lost 1 shot on the overall. But he lost 5. He lost his margin. He got back. Ben went away again to establish that 8-shot lead. Now all the work's up to Matt. He's 6 behind. If he can get this back to say, peg it back, shot an end, shot an end, shot an end, he's back in the game if he can string 3 or 4 Marines together. But you've got to get that first bowl working for you. Beautiful delivery. Follow through. If you've got the mechanics of a good delivery, you get bowls like this.
Oh,
it's as simple as that.
Well,
that's a great shot.
Ben Hubber, high quality, mate. That's really good.
That's a very, very anxious bowl, that one. I think he held onto that, strangled it a little bit. Ben's in the box seat here to score this end, because really Matt's got no position. Ben pairs a bowl, gets out to that beats that last bowl that Matt played. He's played a ripper here.
Oh, that's a great bowl again, Benalla.
It's a good shot.
They're really pouring on the pressure now. I'm sure his mum, Lynn, and his girlfriend, Tessa, watching back at home would have quite enjoyed that.
Matt's on the charge here. Good result. Played nice weight. He's actually made 2 shots out of that.
Yeah, he has.
Yep. And Ben's got to be careful here. He's got to get a bowl here that gets close and puts Matt back under the pressure. He hasn't done it. He's actually playing a fairly overweighted draw shot there. Went out into the different territory and probably thinking subconsciously, grass green, new area, not much play on it, it's a bit slower. Doesn't have that effect on the indoor carpet. The indoor carpet's a lot different. Matt's playing inside the green to the jack instead of going out to come back, and he's played a whopper here.
This is great.
That's a sensational bowl.
Well, he's turned this around, hasn't he?
Yes,
he was in a lot of strife to start this end.
The big difference here is that Ben's got to get a close second, but not too close that he can't let Matt get an opportunity to push it out, because Matt's got an opportunity here if Ben doesn't get a close second to make 3 shots again.
Yeah.
But what's he want to make second shot for? He can nearly draw the shot. That's a good bowl. That's
exactly what you need. Isn't
good disciplined shot. That.
Yep. Certainly the large bandage over what could have been a very severe wound.
Well, that's the difference in eliminating your opponent's chances to score the multiple shots. Like the 3 before that Ben got against Matt played an overweighted shot trying to sit on a bowl. That was the go then. Try to dead draw the shot or get a close second. And if you're thinking about just beating his closest bowl, his closest next counter, that's the GO. If you can do that, you're a chance. But he really needs this first one right on top of the jack.
If you're watching Bowls Victoria's live stream coverage of the 2017 Steller Vic Open, brought to you by Aussie Gutter Protection. If you've got birds in your roof, contact Aussie Gutter Protection now to find out how they can provide a 100% bird proofing guarantee. 1300 885525 or go to the website.
I've got it.
It's a good bowl from Ben Harbour there.
Yep.
Exactly what was required. And what's Matt do here, Bridgie?
Well, I virtually treat that as a jack-high bowl and just try and be on the inside of that to the jack or sit the bowl. Really only draw weight. You're only looking to play, a foot or 2 feet through the jack. If you miss, you're going to finish in the scoring area. That's not the bowl. You're better off being just that little bit wider to sit the bowl or get the inside edge of that bowl onto the jack. If you're narrow, like that one there was, you've got nothing. But it has finished behind, so it's a chance to be a receiver if you can trail the jack, but it depends on what Ben does. The head's going to change with every bowl, or it should.
If they're any good.
Well, he's probably given Matt another option now. If that bowl had been there with his last, he would have got a slide off that and touch the jack, but that's all what ifs. He's tightened the line and he's played more weight. I really don't think I could see any value in that shot.
Ben definitely holding 2 now.
Thanks, mate. I think Hupper can put the light out here. With a really smart bowl here, Matt won't have anything but a draw to save on this, or if he makes a target to have a real slash at it, but yeah, this is a good shot. He's in the count, that's 3.
That's real pretty.
And the holes are big enough for a bowl to go through quite comfortably. There's no real squeezes there. A bowl will go right through that hole. So Matt, you've got to get this perfectly, and he's tight. I know nothing about this game. It's, 30 odd years playing, and he gave himself a chance. That's all you can say with that. He was very, very lucky with that result.
Yeah.
To cut that bowl across sideways and sit for second shot.
Unorthodox, possibly, is the best term to describe that, Bridgie.
It's not in the copy. It's not in the textbook. It's just one of those perhapses. It's probably why bowls isn't an Olympic sport. How'd you like to lose a gold medal on a wick, or a rub, or a lucky shot? I'd be pretty annoyed.
Now Hubbard getting down after this one.
Put your pencils on that one. That's another shot. Well played, Ben. That's the absoluter. Well done.
And
that's 2, I think.
Yeah, we've certainly got 2 there. And it is 2. Ben Hubbard stretches that lead back out. 16-9. In our men's singles quarter final here at the Steller Vic Open, Ben Hubbard 16-9 up over Matthew Robertson. Played 17 ends and we're 21 up. Ben Hubbard 5 shots from entering the semi-finals here at the Vic Open.
Yeah, they've been going at it now for just about an hour and 25 minutes. The player that's settled the most, I think, over that duration and the amount of ends that we've played is Hubbard, and I think the scoreboard totally reflects that. In the 25 up game or the 31 up game, which is played in other states, you can afford to have a little bit of a lapse and hopefully peg it back over time. But this 21 up game is very, very. You've got to be very, very careful of what you do. It's a good guide, that one, for Matt.
This is looking quite promising.
Yeah, he's underneath the line slightly, but it's good weight. He's got the shot. He needs to focus on an area around the jack. Try and get in that 2-foot circle around the jack where he's got a chance to score. So I just like seeing Ben's bowl come in high, because with that nice green, good weight, difference in the bowls, difference in the left-hander right-hander combination too. It's like the test batting, you know, get the left-hander down one end and the right-hander at the other end and put the bowler off his line.
It's almost working a bit like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hubbard going probably better from the other end that he's playing now.
I think he's played the best bowls in this direction, back towards the outdoor greens. I think Hubbard's had control on that aspect. Robertson's probably played his better bowls going towards the car park. But Ben's just got this side of the green nailed in regard to getting out where he's got to get. You know, that's a good bowl. That's a good weighted bowl. That's a perfect result.
Yeah, that's a top result for Ben Hubbard there.
Touching his own bowl on the back there with nice weight just puts it that little bit closer. It's in a much better position now because it's shot and behind. Matt's got a decision here whether he goes out on the open hand or plays. He's going to play weight on this hand. Yuck. He put it there and he hit it. If you're playing pairs and that was your lead, you'd go crook at your lead. But when you're playing singles and you put one short and you hit it yourself, you only got yourself to blame. He was attacking then really with only one bowl in the head, which is not a bad second. But it's getting to the scary stage now because Hubbard's on 16. He's only 5 away from saluting the judge, and if he can win this end, it puts him on the springboard. Then he's only looking for 4.
And numbers are what Robertson needs really now.
Look, he needs to stop this bloke, and he needs to do something different in regard to the length, the positioning of the mat. Try something different, you know. He's got himself the best back bowl. He's got the tee section covered there on the 2 metre mark now if the jack goes out of bounds, but I can't really see any value in that. If Matt drives here and takes his own bowl out, he's thrown 4 shots away.
You were mentioning before about the concept of muscle memory and Ben just basically just keeping on playing the same shot. I guess the thing is, you know, it has been a lot of rinse and repeat for Ben here, and it's worked really well.
Wow, that's... I've got to question some of his shot selection. That's a very low percentage shot he's played there, and he's gone one down, but I just question whether he's got the confidence to try and draw his way out of trouble. And really, in the whole concept of playing, sometimes you're best to try and draw your way out of trouble and play weight out of trouble, because the next shot you're going to have to play is a draw shot, and it's coming back from, you know, working the body differently and having total control. Hubbard's only played the drive when he's definitely had to, or played an in-between weighted shot. I think you could count the amount of weighted shots he's played on one hand, where Matt's played quite a few.
Absolutely, and certainly things getting to the desperate stage for Matthew Robertson now. We'll find out certainly in the next couple of ends. I think his fate will be known very shortly, because he trails 17-9 here.
Yep.
And we're 21 up. Ben Hubbard needing 4 shots to advance to the semi-finals of the men's singles at his first Vic Open. First time he's played at the Vic Open. And what a march it has been.
Well, he's looking as an informed player at the moment, and it's going to take a good player to beat him, I think. You know, with bowls like this, he's the third end in a row he's nailed a toucher going down in this direction, and they're the sort of bowls that you need.
If he was any hotter, he'd burst into flames at the moment.
Well, you wouldn't want to touch him, you'd singe your fingertips. Oh, Matty, you are fighting it. You are fighting it. That's... I feel for him, you know. We've all been in that position before when we've played a game and nothing's going for you, and you're sort of struggling with your draw shot, and it's a horrible feeling, I can tell you. You're not going to drop many games when you're positioning your bowls and grouping your bowls in that sort of an area, so...
Just everything's in the region, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is. It's in the zone. It's in the scoring area. See, the thing is for Matt that he's chopping and changing. He's not getting on one side of the green to settle down. He's played one on his backhand. He's then gone over to his forehand. He's got nothing within sort of a metre of the jack, so it's... I feel for him. But if I was playing for him, I wouldn't feel sorry for him, if you know what I mean. You just keep applying the screws. Exactly. That's a perfect pyramid of bowls there. He's got 3 in what I would class as the area where they're going to get a chance to score. I think Matty's underneath this. This could be all in. This could be all over here, Guy, this end here.
Oh dear. It's gone everywhere. Well, Ben Hubbard needs 4 shots to win. He has 3 of those. 1 to play.
The smart thing to do here would be to not go in anywhere near the jack and just get out on that forehand side for him and beat Matt's closest bowl, and don't make a target.
Yep.
And then Matt won't have any solace with anything there. He'll just have to come straight back to a dead draw shot. But he's going to play his favourite side. Look, I don't blame him for playing this. He's on top on this side of the green. He just doesn't want to fall for the old 3-card trick of building up a big area for Matty to plough into. Well, he's got a bit of an AMP bowl there, a little bit of insurance around the back. You know, he's oh, Matty.
He's going to wait.
He needs the bare jack. He's got it. Wow.
Work.
Wow, that's a huge result there from Robbo.
Yeah, it's a grave. I suppose when your opponent's holding 4 and match, well, you've got to be brave.
No guts, no glory.
No, correct. Well,
I'll tell you what, he's got a chance to bask in it here because he's just got 2.
He's got the result. He picks up 2 shots. Ben Hubbard was holding match, not anymore. We keep going. 17-11. Ben Hubbard leads. We're 21 up.
Right. Must have heard my talk. He's brought the mat up a little bit. And he's rolling probably a a short to 3/4 length then. But he must nail the jack. If he doesn't nail the jack, the bringing of the mat up won't have resolved anything, because if Ben puts a close bowl, always used to like to think, playing against other players, if that's your favourite length and I can outdraw you on it, I know I've got you. So, you know, then you throw your favourite back at him, and it's survival of the fittest. But I just don't think Matt's going to capitalise here, because that's not a very good start. Weight's not bad, but he's just put it out that little bit wider. Ben's commanded this side of the green, so if he's still focused on his line here, knows what his bowl's going to do, this won't be in the way for him, that bowl from Matt. Touched him in. He was probably a little bit overweight too. Made the correction for the grass and just cut it underneath. Probably cut his grass by a good foot. But he whipped right under. This is a well pointed bowl from Hubba. This one's the shot guy.
Oh wow. We've said it so many times during this coverage, Bridgie, but an absolute ripper from Ben Harper there. That's what you want right now.
There's no substitute for those, and that's what Robertson needs with his first bowl when he is in control of the end, because now he's under pressure to try and turn this head around. He's very, very close.
Oh my.
Oh, that's a great
goodness
try.
Gracious me.
Well, he gave it a chance. You can't go crook at him. He gave it a chance and didn't lose his bowl, so it's still alive on the green. Hubba's got to be very, very careful here. If he just touches that bowl, he's down. So he's got to chuck it out, which he's done. Out into the good paddock. Oh, he's played a ripper here if he sits that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, well, that's where the jack's going.
Yep.
So he's got that covered.
Yep.
Robbo, you've got to play a career shot here. You've got to play one that you could stake your reputation on. He's going to go and have a look. Very important that he does, because he wants to make sure that if he does make contact and it doesn't go right, what's the worst position you can be in? I don't think Hubba can score the 4 he needs on this end with that wayward bowl out on the side, but he could set it up here to score a potential 3, which puts him with only 1 shot to go, so which is sometimes the hardest one to score. Crowd starting to build up in here now with the outside activities now nearly coming to an end, and the indoor.
Very much so. Yeah, we've got a lot of matches going on around us here at Shepparton Park, and the crowd starting to build up. It was pretty sparse to start with, but that's because there were a lot of games out in the outside greens.
He's close. He's close.
Oh my goodness me!
Well, he played the same line, but with just that touch more weight.
Oh.
Probably just a touch over the weight that he should have played, but it's easy to say that from here. But I think the better shot would have been there to just try and draw onto the shot bowl, and the old saying, crack an egg on it, so that it just moves a little bit to bring his side bowl in. But he was in the area.
You could have fitted a water cracker, I think, between
Well,
Robertson's last bowl and the jack.
I reckon a cigarette paper would have been closer. He nearly feathered that, and if he'd feathered it, he would have got one. Hubba's got every chance here to draw another shot. Oh wow, probably a little bit overweighted, but he's got one. It puts him on 18.
If so, just the single to Ben Hubba there. He leads 18-11. We're 21 up. Ben Hubba, 3 more shots, and he will be in the Steller Vic Open men's semi-finals. Holds a 18-11 lead in our quarter-final match here against Matthew Robertson. Hope you're enjoying our coverage, brought to you by Aussie Gutter Protection, protecting Australian roofs for the last 17 years. Call 1300 885525 or go to aussiegutterprotection.com.au to find out more on how they can help you. strong supporter of Victorian bowls, and we really appreciate their sponsorship of our live stream. Is it just rinse and repeat for Hubbard now, Bridgie? Just keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I think I'll put it to you in another sense and terms. If it was a fight, Hubbard's the better counterpuncher. I think every time that Robertson does do something, Hubbard comes off the ropes with something better. When Robbo's under trouble, he doesn't seem to be able to counter at the same depth as what Hubbard does, and I think Matty might be wrestling himself a bit, and that's never easy to do when you're playing singles. But yeah, I just think that Hubbard's got an answer for everything that Robertson does, and he does it. He virtually saying, Hubbard, Robbo, you play a good one, I've got a better one to play, and that probably is what the difference is here, because I think Hubbard's been in total control.
He's got the chance to do that here, because that was a pretty decent bowl from Robbo.
It is. It's a good start. That's probably his best start for a while. You've got to get that first one in that area to give yourself some sort of a start. But Hubbard's just been all over this backhand coming in that direction. I think playing in Robertson's mind too will be the fact that Hubbard can finish him off here with only needing 3. He needs 10. He's setting up a much better head here, Robertson. He's got 2 shots there, and there's gaps, so Hubbard's got to play a good shot. He can't sit on anything there with any real confidence for shot, so he's got to try and dead draw it in there. Probably just a little bit under the line here, I think, from his previous. But he's going to be under line through the jack. See? Oh. Now there's an opportunity now for Robertson to really put a close bowl in here and get Ben thinking a bit.
There've been very few opportunities too, so this is gold for Robbo here.
Yeah. When the opportunity's there and it presents itself, you've got to take it. You can't hope your opponent's going to miss with their next bowl. So you've really got to, knuckle down. That's, well, it's alive. It's on the green. You wouldn't be happy with that weight, because I don't think he would have been trying to sit the bowl or trail the jack, which is his own shot. Hubbard's in a really good position here. He's got good control over his delivery, over his emotions. He doesn't want to play a rash shot here and then think about himself, oh, what did I do that for? If the dust settles and he drops a few, he's just got to try and draw the shot. As we said before, the counter punch, if he delivers this here, he'll just about sink Matty, I think. Okay.
It's really one of the few times that Hubbard's defence hasn't quite been right.
Probably the first time he hasn't changed a head over with his bowl. I think he might have thought that bowl he played that was a really good toucher. Might have been a good start for him, but he did shave the jack back into Matt's bowl, so he was on the narrow line going past the jack and put that jack in a much better spot for Robbo, but not for himself. And these are the ones you got to draw. If Matty draws this one, he might get a kick on. But last bowl, he's got the chance to ice the cake there and get 2, and he's left that. I think he might be only 1 here, but yeah, it's hard to say because I can't see the jack. But
Michael Andersch will let us know very shortly. I'm thinking 1.
I'm pretty sure it's only 1. Could be a good measure. Could be a close measure. Michael Andersch there down on the green to chock that bowl, but he's called the umpire because it's probably better that the umpire comes out and measures this, because the game is in a very fine situation. We wouldn't like to see anything untoward happen with a measure. She's certainly chocking that bowl up there. There's no way known that's going to fall over. It's great this year, Guy, that we've got Steller on board as our naming rights sponsor and Aussie Gutter Protection as our major partner with our live streaming, which is, this is my first time at the event with the live stream.